Bill Montgomery. We're currently at Modern Artifacts at 3039 West Cary Street in Carytown, part of Richmond. Well, we opened the store about 2 years ago, and we are bringing art that we like and appreciate, mostly photographic prints and G-clay prints that we think are very modern and aesthetic and very affordable.
Excellent.
Well, I can only speak to the last 3.5 years, because we moved here from the DC area in August of 2010, so we have a more limited point of view or perspective on the art. Since we've been here, however, we've found it to be extremely dynamic. There's a very large creative audience here, and we were happy to be a part of that. So I think it's been pretty well established since 2010. Well, I think from our experience from Northern Virginia, where we moved prior to being down here, I was in Old Town Alexandria for 15 years. Modern realism, I think, is what we seem to see a lot of. There's a lot of fine art galleries here in Richmond that I think do a very good job in presenting that work. We personally like that as well. Ours is more of a decorative art than a fine art from what we have here. We didn't want to be competing in that realm and thought we'd do something different. So we love photography. We work with Bill Dickinson, who's a local photographer, whom we carry a great deal of his work, and it's been very well received. So I think there's a good variety. There's oil, there's acrylics, there's pretty much the gamut of what you would typically expect to find between the fine art galleries and even what we do. Well, we really weren't tied to the DC market any longer, and it was actually when Sharon and I decided to get married, we needed to have a new home. And so while we could have found a neutral third home in Northern Virginia, Sharon's originally from Richmond. Her mom and dad and brothers all live here, and as we weren't tied any longer, we thought let's move down here, do something different, reinvent ourselves, and thus we created this concept of Modern Artifacts. We think it's extremely vibrant. From what we've learned, I think VCU's had a very major input into that, being the top-rated public art school in America, and I think a lot of the art students that come here remain. I think it's from First Fridays and the Art Walk down on Broad Street to the various mural projects. You know, we're big fans of Ed Trask and Hamilton Glass. We personally own their works. We own works by Matt Lively, who we admire and respect. Chuck Scanlon, who is also a personal friend, but an artist of great renown here locally. So we think it functions on multiple levels. We think it's growing in stature. We've had 2 RVA Street Art Festivals. We look forward to the next one later this year, hopefully, and being a part of that in any direct or indirect way. Well, I think the 2 street art festivals that I mentioned, the first one that it was Ed Trask and John Belials, who I think were the primary movers and shakers making that happen. And the first one was done down at the power plant, down on the canal by the James River. Again, a great venue. It was outdoors. People could come down and watch the artists in creating their murals. And then subsequently last fall, they did the second street art festival at the GRTC bus barn, which again is open air, created a great weekend event to go down and watch artists creating murals on site. And so those have probably been our 2 favorite events since moving here to Richmond.